Okay, you can take a second and read the instructions, but it's asking for a polynomial of minimum degree, standard form. So the big things here are that they want real coefficients. They want this to be a 0 of the function, but they want the coefficients to be real. So the only way that can happen is if we add in an extra 0, the conjugate. Otherwise, you would have imaginary coefficients. And now that we've made that little adjustment, now we can do what they asked. The function f of x, who has these as zeros, is going to be x minus 3. And that takes care of this being a 0 because if you plug in 3 in here, 3 minus 3 would make 0. So that's 1. So a next 0 would be x minus 1 minus 2i. Because if you plug in 1 minus 2i in for x right here, you're going to have 1 minus 2i minus 1 minus 2i. They're going to perfectly cancel out and make a 0. And then the last 0 we need is x minus 1 plus 2i, that conjugate that we had to add. And so that's what the polynomial looks like. It's guaranteed to have real coefficients because we have the conjugate 0 in there. And it's minimum degree because we haven't added any extras x's that we need. So to finish this one out, to write it in standard form, you just have to multiply all these things together. Okay, and the best thing to do is to multiply the conjugate pieces together first because all the imaginary parts will cancel out. So let me clean it up a bit. I just distributed the negative sign in front of the parentheses. And so now we have to take this piece and multiply it to this piece. So when you multiply those first green arrows out, you're going to get this. You got to carry through and do the next number in the list. We've got -1 that has to multiply to everything. So you got to do -1 times x, -1 times -1, and -1 times -2i. And then you got to do the same thing for the 2i at the end. That has to multiply to each number. So you got 2i times x, 2i times -1. Those arrows look bad, but 2i times each of those. And there's some cancellation that can happen here because you get -2ix plus 2ix. Those guys are going to cancel each other out. So we're going to cross that out and cross that out. And then, let's see, we got 2i and -2i that can cancel out. And then minus 4i squared. I squared is -1, so that's plus 4. Left with x squared. And then you have -x minus x, that makes -2x, plus that 1, plus 4. So when you simplify the whole thing, that's 2x, x squared minus 2x plus 5. So that's why we wanted to multiply this piece, these two together first, the conjugates, because it cleaned up pretty nicely. Instead of having a ton of terms, we just have this. So we've only multiplied 2 of those parentheses. You still got to go back and multiply these two together. Okay, so I'm going to skip over that. I'll show you what the calculation is. That's what everything looks like. And then we got x cubed minus 5x squared plus 11x minus 15. There we go. So that's what the polynomial looks like in standard form. That would be your final answer.